1, 2, eyes open, wide awake. Those words, those are some of the first words that really stood out to me when I watched my first hypnosis show. And it's funny because my background in hypnosis actually is big time as a skeptic. I remember buying a book on the subject, a little small blue pamphlet. Don't even know if I still have it around in my collection of books somewhere. And I remember reading this book and just thinking, this is complete bullshit. Then I threw it away in the garbage can. It sat there for months. I had coincidentally thrown it in a can that had no liner in the bottom. It just sat there in the trash can in my room as a child. The bag was put over it, completely forgotten. One day I remember watching HBO on demand, and there was the amazing Tom Silver, who is now the Dean of American Hypnotists. He's largely known as the successor to Ormond McGill, who is obviously one of the greatest hypnotists of all time. He wrote the book on the subject of stage hypnotism in the Encyclopedia of Stage Hypnotism, as well as his psychic magic courses. He was an amazing mentalist, magician, and hypnotist. How do you get started in hypnosis? How are we going to get you from 0 to 60? Let's go into some resources and some in-depth talks right now. Cut to the intro. So hypnotism, is it something that you really need in your toolbox as a magician, mentalist, mystery art, whatever you want to frame yourself as a speaker? I would say yes. As somebody that's done a lot of hypnosis-related material, a lot of hypnosis work, it is still the stuff that really gets the most amazing kind of reaction. Jerome Finley talks about a lot of this in his books. He'd say that readings are the top thing people are interested in, hypnosis second, mind reading and magic third. I want to preface this and say that don't let this make you disgruntled. Don't make you think that you need to convert to be a stage hypnotist. You don't have to. I hate traditional stage hypnotist acts. Even though I think they're great and some people work them really well, I don't like making people look silly. So right now, let's go over some great resources for how you can get from 0 to 60 in hypnosis and start incorporating into your work. So to start off, on the hypnosis side, I ascribe a lot to the James Brown / head hacking automatic imagination model framework. What this essentially is, a nutshell, is getting people to imagine something happening dissociates them once, getting them having them imagine it happening automatically dissociates them twice and produces that traditional involuntary response that we see in most hypnosis. Hypnosis is something you shouldn't be scared of. It's really harmless if you use it correctly. And no, you don't have to have people close their eyes, sleep. You don't have to do all that. You could even go as far as doing it eyes open, wide awake. Let me try something with you all at home. I'm really excited to do this. Again, this will work for you if you have your concentration, if you have your conscious mind engaged in the right way, and if you really focus on what I'm saying and what you're supposed to be doing, this will work for you. I can almost guarantee it. What I'd like you to do is go grab a business card, a playing card, a pencil, anything you can hold at your fingertips like this comfortably. Now, as you do that, I would like you to go ahead and hold it out in front of you. Focus on one spot, on the card, on the pencil, on whatever, holding your arm like a crane. You can go ahead and imagine that on your wrist there's a string tied to it, and it's holding it up automatically. You'll notice your arm relaxes, and it tends to hang out there on its own. Take the pressure off your elbow and your shoulder as you do this. As you focus on that point, that spot, on that particular thing, you can begin to feel your fingertips gripping the object and the object pushing against your fingertips, and you can start repeating over and over in your mind, I'm going to drop this, I'm going to drop this, I'm going to drop this. As you do that, as you hear those words clearly in your head, as you feel your fingertips gripping that object, and as you begin to notice how locked and solid they become as they try to hold on to the object, you can notice and begin to become aware how you can't actually let go of the object. You can try and let go in a moment, but it just locks and sticks tighter and tighter. Your thumb, your fingers like carved from stone. They just won't let go. The more you try, the more they become locked and solid. Don't worry, this isn't permanent. This is only temporary. Look at me. 1, 2, 3. Unlock your fingers, the object falls, everything's back to normal, just like that. Some of you that probably worked on. Others of you are going, oh, well, that didn't work on me, where's the method? That's probably why it didn't work. You're looking for a weird method. And that's the thing about hypnosis. There are some pseudo-hypnotic effects out there that obviously have methods, and you can use them to leverage to get real hypnosis. For those of you who didn't know that, yeah, you can do that. But for others of you that got that traditional response that you see in hypnosis and you couldn't let go of that object, probably you just experienced what it feels like to have real magic happen again. I want to go ahead and say here, hypnosis is something that is just absolutely seminal, again, in what I do. I think that utilizing it, either I'm doing it literally as a hypnotist or just following the framework as a hypnotist of using the yes set, can you stand here, can I have your hand, can you focus on what I'm saying? Using those traditional 3 yes sets and establishing that rapport is very important. I went down a rabbit hole hypnosis that went a little bit too deep. I got into the NLP stuff, which 90% of it is bullshit, but there is a good portion that does work phenomenally. I think that studying everything out there and being able to have a, as my friend James Brown calls it, a TMBBS stamp. TMBBS stands for this might be bullshit. And bearing in mind, sometimes even the bullshit stuff can work for you if your personality fits. Now that we've kind of given a little bit general layout on hypnosis, let's talk about resources. Free resources, definitely James Tripp TV, James Tripp, Hypnosis Without Trance. I know he's changed his channel multiple times. It was Hypnotic Wave for a while there, I think. Look at his content. He has the best free hypnosis content out there, in my opinion. The guys from Head Hacking and How To, that's 2 the number, Hypnotize, also have some great stuff. I'll show you Anthony's traditional approach from set piece to induction to suggestion, taking you full circle. That is how I started off. I started off failing so many times just trying to do the set piece. The set piece would work perfectly. Their hands would come together. Then I would do the induction, and it just wouldn't work for the longest time. And what I realized was it was me. It was my inner game. And one day I achieved it, and from there I'd hypnotized half of my school in about a year's time of learning how to do hypnosis. You need to go out and do it constantly. Some of you is going to terrify you. But let's give an example in the form of a card trick. Let's say, for example, you are doing a card changing effect. You're doing maybe the Rossini stab, or maybe you're doing the RGB, I believe, the reverse gestalt moment, RGM, the reverse gestalt moment by Luc Germain. Or just go out and buy Cerebral Still by James Brown. It's on POWA, POWA.academy.com. That one's the best version of that trick, and I have variations of that as well. I think that what you're going to find doing a lot of this stuff in the course of magic is if you mention it's hypnosis, you're going to have less success. But if you go in and say you have a card, you present it as being the selected card, it's not, you've double lifted it, put the different card in their hands, you have them put their hands together, and you just begin to suggest, like I did with the finger sticking a moment ago, say, I want you to imagine that feeling, I want you to imagine that card between your hands is slowly turning to glue. I want you to imagine XYZ, XYZ. Go research yourself and find this. It's not my place to teach you hypnosis, but I can direct you in the right place to learn it. Doing things like sticking hands together, doing the traditional magnetic fingers, the magnetic hands. If you could find a source for it, the growing palm. There's a great one on James Tripp's channel that I know is fairly recent where he does a growing arm as well that works really well. The pivot test, where they try and twist as far as they can. They imagine going further and they twist further. Amazing things like that really added level of realism to your performing. The best thing about doing this in the frame of a magician or a mentalist is the suggestion's already there that they need to concentrate, they need to do this or that. In the frame of a magic trick, it works really well because they're thinking there's some kind of method to make it work. They are trying to find a trick in it. And it's so funny, but when they do it, they can't separate their hands. They just think it's like a sticky card or something. And when they are found out that it is just suggestion, it really brings everything back home. One of my favorite things to do is to do magnetic hands. What I'll do is have some people rub their hands together, put their hands out, feel the magnetic pull. Tell them imagine that magnetic pull becoming stronger and stronger. Their hands touch, let their fingers lace like that. And I then go into the hand stick. I have them focus on the inside of their hands. Imagine a pulse in their hands. Imagine it grows stronger and stronger. All of you do this. Put your hands together like this, and I want you to imagine a pebble in your hands. Imagine that pebble starts to pulsate, and you'll feel it gradually as you focus on it. And as you focus on it getting stronger, it will grow. And as it grows, your focus will become even stronger. And then begin to suggest their hands are becoming locked and stuck like a solid block of wood. Like they can't separate them. This is a great whole group activity. It's so nice to start with something real. Maybe using even a pendulum to go into hypnosis. Anything like that. I think that looking into resources such as the POWA.academy, James Brown's reality bending course, the head hacking teams, Trilby Connection, Manchurian Approach, James Tripp TV, or whatever James Tripp calls his channel out, Hypnosis Without Trance. These works are going to really bring things full throttle for you. For those of you that want to get into this and want to start doing some pseudo-hypnosis before you start doing the real thing, or use the pseudo-hypnosis to get real hypnosis, True Mysteries by Fraser Parker is the way to go. In here, you're going to find things like Stuck for the Moment, where they shuffle a deck of cards, they hand them to you, and they find they can't let go, and they're in this strange trance. You snap your fingers, and they're able to let go suddenly. Be able to make people change their beliefs, essentially, by tapping them on the head. Things you can't normally achieve with traditional hypnosis anyway. But with the True Mysteries approach, you can actually get the feeling of hypnosis before you do any real hypnosis, which is a tacit suggestion to the audience that you are a hypnotist and that you are able to do this, and that they will fall under your spell, as bizarre as that sounds. Hypnosis, folks, it's a really ethereal subject matter. It's kind of crazy, and a lot of people, I think, that think they understand it don't really, and vice versa. I want to also recommend watch the videos of Justin Trance. He's probably one of the best hypnotists on the planet, if not the best hypnotist on the planet. Has a lot of work on just being able to induce anybody and just pure power and raw energy in his work. You'll see a lot of interesting inductions in there that I've used, such as his fallback induction, his posture sway. It works with amazing Kreskin, and watching the video Kreskin on suggestion is really good too to study some things. Really just gotta watch people, see what they're doing, and go out and try and emulate it. That's 50% of the battle right there. Hope you found some information in here worthwhile. I know your journey into hypnosis is gonna be very fruitful if you put the work in and you go out and just do it. Remember, you don't have to mention that you're doing hypnosis. You can just go straight into trying to stick someone's hand, trying to do a locked hand stick, framing it as mentalism, as energy work, as magic trick, whatever you want to, or using it inside of a card routine or something like that so you have a safety net to fall on should the hypnosis fail. It doesn't matter. Thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe down below. Smash that like button if that is your prerogative, and share the love if you found something really useful in here. Thank you again for watching. Jacob Smith out as always, and I'll see you next week.